Hello and welcome to today's session. This is the orientation call of what I like to call the sort of crash course into what we are doing inside of the Good Food Network for the month of June. My name is Lucas Simmons. I'm your holistic nutrition gal, and I'm based here in the Netherlands for a couple more months yet, here in The Hague. Want to welcome everybody who's joining us live and those who are watching the play afterwards. This month is a month where we will be diving into all things thyroid here at Good Food and You. And it's also what we'll be doing inside of the Good Food Network. So whether you're just receiving the emails and maybe checking out the socials, or if you decided to dig a little deeper for yourself, it's everything that we're doing inside of the content and the courses that I'll be sharing here on Good Food and You through the month of June. What does this mean? Well, it means that we are doing different lens into supporting your thyroid every week this month inside of my Good Food Network, but also with a live class I'll be running later this month. Tell you all about it. The content that I do is mainly aimed at women who are sort of in that middle part of life where you might start feeling a little bit off, even though your labs look okay, or maybe you've been on Synthroid or any kind of levothyroxine supplement or medication for a number of years, and you're still not feeling great, or I don't know, like some of those symptoms that we associate with, oh, is it menopause or is it something else that start to show up? Fatigue, energy, skin, anything to do with something that takes energy actually is what I want you to think of when we say the thyroid. So it could be poor sleep. It could be histamine things even. There's absolutely a thyroid component there. It could be inflammation, autoimmune issues, brain fog, mood regulation, troubles with your period, maybe even troubles with fertility, digestive changes, like so many. And it will be of particular use to you if you are somebody who, yeah, but I'm trying to eat healthier, but I'm feeling really overwhelmed by information and all of the differing opinions out there. So this month, in the month of June, we're going to be exploring the thyroid, not as this isolated gland. Yeah, T4 to T3 conversion, TSH, all of those things we will talk about. But we're talking about the thyroid as part of a bigger metabolic picture, if you will. So, this is a story that I tend to see quite a bit in the people with whom I'm having conversations these days. Yeah, everything looks okay, or there's this and this going on in their life, but the labs don't explain it. Or when they go to see one of their primary care physicians, they're sometimes dismissed, or, well, you must just be depressed and let's just try something that might help stabilize your mood, because that's probably one of the pieces contributing. And while I will not deny that I think mood can be a really big telltale sign that thyroid issues are struggling, it's not merely adjusting mood that is going to help, but actually supporting an entire system that is asking for help. So my question is always going to be, are we actually listening to what it is the body is saying, or are we interpreting something for it to fit a mold of what it is we want? Sometimes the body is going to whisper a long time before she will scream. Yeah, okay. That's nice, Luca. You say that all the time. I know. Our goal this month is about learning how to support your body consistently through food, through rhythm, through nourishment, and small doable practices. That's at the core of everything I do. I use the words anchor often. I use the words building often, just to showcase that we are forever in flow, forever in motion, and we have this capacity to make small incremental changes. And the beautiful part about this is the more consistent you are with these small incremental changes, the more benefits you tend to see long term. Now, let's talk about why the thyroid matters more than people realize. So, your thyroid is kind of this pace setter for the body. I think of her as the grand conductor of the grand symphony that is you. You've got one, everybody has one, all genders, and it sits just at the base of your throat, and it's shaped much like a butterfly. It's why I use the image of a butterfly, actually. And if you are somebody who does yoga and you know the chakras, it's also where the blue chakra is, or the throat chakra. Totally corresponds with the thyroid. So if you think about it, the thyroid, she is this grand conductor of the symphony that is you. So what does she conduct? Well, she is connected to so many different systems. Every single cell of the body has a receptor on it for thyroid hormone. What does that mean? It means a cell that lives in your liver, much like, well, I don't know, a cell that lives inside of your left kneecap, very much like a cell that lives inside of your spleen, very much like a cell that lives in your right scapula bone, right? Like, and the muscles that make it work. Every single cell of the body has a thyroid receptor site. That means this receptor site, I want you to think of it as a landing pad. It's a landing pad for a thyroid hormone to land. Why would a thyroid hormone want to land? Well, the thyroid hormone lands there to make something happen. So this is a telephone call connecting the thyroid with whatever cell it's connecting to, whatever receptor site it's landing into. So it means that the thyroid has the potential of influencing every single organ and cell in the body. So if you understand that, let's take a step out. If it can impact every single cell, what kind of telephone calls or what kind of actions might the thyroid be doing when it lands on these receptor sites to make something happen within the cell? Well, energy. Yeah, your mitochondria, those little energy power centers of every cell, they are governed by your thyroid. Temperature. Yeah, the temperature of your body is totally regulated by the thyroid. Digestion. Constipation is one of those ways we see show up when somebody's had long-term thyroid dysregulation, where the thyroid isn't necessarily functioning at full capacity. Hormones. Your thyroid has a direct impact on so many hormones in the body, from fertility hormones to a menstrual cycle hormone to thyroid also governs when the first period comes, when menarche comes, is the proper word. Thyroid also regulates a lot of mood. Mood is a hormone balancing act. What else? Thyroid has a direct impact on sleep. Sure does. It also has a really big impact on mood. I said that one already. Has a massive, massive role to play in metabolism. That grand conductor of your symphony is also the thermostat regulator in the body. And that thermostat, not only for temperature, but also for your metabolism, how quickly you will burn energy. And your thyroid and the state of your thyroid is often an indicator of how good your body's resilience is. It's kind of this report card on things. Now, the interesting thing to understand about this is that often when there's been an elevated burden of stress going on in a body, which would be from living as a human in a society that is more, do, capitalism, capitalism, capitalism. Everything is awful and fear and terrible and awful, and we're all going to die. It's not the only story that's out there, but it is the dominant narrative, yeah? Right? So the burden of stress is from things in the outside world. Your burden of stress is also from biochemistry not working or struggling. It's working, but it's struggling. So inflammation is one of those. If you have troubles with blood sugars, it'll bump up your burden of stress. If you have hormones out of balance, it'll bump up your burden of stress. If you can't digest, bump that up, baby. If you have any genetic anomalies like, I don't know, the MTHFR gene mutation, that's going to bump up your burden of stress. And any emotional stress, anything to do with relationships with people. So when this burden of stress starts to go up, one of the major first things that happens is your body can, like at the same time, is now going to start dialing down on the thyroid. She's going to down regulate the thyroid because that kickstarts some energy preservation mechanisms in the body to keep your resources readily available so you can last longer in what the body perceives as a dangerous time. And sometimes the thyroid's the last one to come on. So it's one of the first ones offline, and it's one of the last ones to come back online. She's still functioning throughout the entire thing, don't worry. We're just giving her more of what it is she needs to do the job and to rev up at better capacity. Now, there's a tie-in to adrenals here. The thyroid and the adrenals, those two little thumb-shaped organs you've got just sitting at your lower back, the thyroid and the adrenals are always in communication. They're kind of besties. When we have been running with an elevated burden of stress, when those stress hormones have been coursing through our body for years, and this can be for many different reasons. It could be from skipping meals. It could be from working 60 hours a week because we needed our job to put a roof over our head. It could be from caring for children who are neurodivergent, and the amount of hospital appointments and doctor's appointments are overbearing. It feels like a lot, right? Like all of these different things along the way. If we've pushed through to exhaustion, that has also added to our burden of stress because that stress response now actually helps provide fuel. It's a very interesting mechanism. There's many, many different things that happen in the body when this has been going on for years. The beautiful part to know here is that your body adapts. Your body adapts to what it perceives the environment is in which you're living. Sometimes symptoms that seem random are actually the way that your body is trying to let you know that he or she or that they are struggling to create safety and to create steady energy. That's where the thyroid is keenly involved. So, how do I see this in clients with thyroid issues? First things first, I often see it in people who are really tough to get going, where they may have what we think of as adrenal fatigue, but the thyroid has been underregulated for a long time. And now they may have troubles balancing mood or even going to the toilet. Like that is one of those key pieces that can show up. So I also see it in people who wake up after they've had lots of sleep, even, or having to hit snooze 8 times before they'll actually get out of bed in the morning. Or it might be people that are crashing in the afternoon where they've had okay energy and can get through the morning part, but come mid-afternoon, forget about it. If this is you, you've figured out that you have to book all of your appointments and conversations with colleagues in the morning, and your afternoons are like where you create space because this just doesn't work after 1 p.m. Yeah. And what you'll see the longer you're in that pattern, the more now you'll see the seventh wind, I call it, that comes on after dinner. That was totally me when our daughter was little. Yeah. I've also seen people, how this shows up is they are quite reactive to foods. The list of foods they don't tolerate well starts to get longer and longer over time. Or brain fog, where there's kind of this hard capacity to get through tasks and through the to-do list. I mean, some very obvious thyroid things to me are cracked heels, hair falling out where it's hard to keep hair on your arms, on your legs, on your head. I've seen it. I saw something last week. I was joking about this in the network. That don't worry, if you can still grow hair on your toes, you're doing okay. Thyroid wise, well, I mean, sure. Okay. I guess I'm doing fine. Did you want to know that? Anyway, these are some of those key ways that when I'm working with clients, and if these are symptoms or common complaints that come up, this is where I go, how's the thyroid? This is why simply collecting information often will not create change. Let's dive into what I mean here. Okay, so I want to keep this a little bit short because I feel like I harp on this a lot. So a lot of the people that I work with are people who know a lot, who've done a lot of research, who are out researching the what to do, what supplement to take, what program, protocol. Somebody was asking me today about what do I think of methylene blue, those types of things, right? And while I think there's a time and place for a lot of these things, the missing piece is not just information, it's actual implementation of ideas that are going to actively ramp down that stress response. Yeah, healing rhythms are built through repetition. This is the piece I want you to understand. Like you create health by repeating super unsexy things consistently. Small things done with this idea of consistency will change your metabolism far more than the occasional supplement kick that you go on for 2, 3 weeks, 6 months at a time. The steps you do on a day-to-day basis, how you move through your day will create better metabolic change Much better than a quick fix kind of thing. And that's a hard piece to understand because we live in a time where we just want quick solutions. We want to keep going how we've been going. We're not ready to change how we do go through our days, but we just want a pill in order to support the ways that we're moving through our days. And the work now becomes, okay, well, if me having thyroid issues meant I had to push through so long for so many decades of years, how's that working for you? Do you want to not have thyroid issues? Well, you have to change how you move through your days. You can't just take a supplement and hope that it fixes it. Where you are is a reflection of, I'm a jerk, the capitalist waste of living. I'm such a jerk. I'm such a jerk. It's not that easy, but it's a big contributor to it. So I'll give you an example of what I mean here. I often bring a lot of the same solutions to our sessions in the network. And knowing that protein matters is really different than consistently building your meals around that protein. Or knowing stress impacts your thyroid is very different from learning how to nourish your nervous system daily. If we nourish your nervous system daily, now the stress that comes, you can mitigate it and let it go. Whereas if you're always learning about how it impacts, you're going to continue learning, but you haven't done anything to actually set up safety in the body. So the work that I do, whether it's with clients or inside our Good Food Network, it's all to create biochemical safety in the body at these very steady little pieces that when we do them consistently, they will build that foundation to help our body ramp things down from that stress response. Now, when I do these orientation sessions, because they're for sure targeted for my Good Food Network folks, but I also send them out to my newsletter gang. So I want to give everybody a little bit of a mini experience to give you an idea of what it is that I do. So let's talk about the blood sugar mood tracker. I have talked about this in the network. I don't think I've done it in newsletters yet. I keep an ongoing list of what it is I talk about in these monthly newsletters because I want to make sure you're getting some good value because, there's so many people out there talking about things. I'm really glad you're on my newsletter and I want to make sure that you've got some ideas to play with for yourself. So, one of the things that we're going to explore inside the network this month is this connection between blood sugars, metabolism, stress hormones, and thyroid health. So, we're going to look at the connection between blood sugars, metabolism, the hormones that are produced during stress, and thyroid. So, how are these all connected? So, this is one of the areas where I think many folks start to have this kind of light bulb moment. So, a lot of symptoms that we tend to blame on perhaps aging or getting older, or the middle age slump, or the perimenopause stuff, or the menopause, or heck, even like hormones or stress, or right, like whatever. These can be actually, these symptoms and these experiences we're having can actually be connected to blood sugar instability. Luke, I thought you were talking about thyroid. Oh, I am. But I'm here to tell you that for somebody who has thyroid issue, they have had a long history of blood sugar instability. And for the people who have blood sugar instability, I bet you they have some thyroid dysregulation somewhere. Everybody who's on any kind of thyroid meds, you have blood sugar imbalances as one of the pieces that shows up in this. It tends to show up in the same people. Like 95% of people who have thyroid issues have blood sugar instability. So I'm going to talk about some of these symptoms. So if you have any of these symptoms, I'm going to invite you to do the mini experiment. So let's identify first who's going to do the experiment. Do you or have you ever, if you say yes to any of these, I want you to jot down what of these words resonates with you. Have you ever had energy crashes? Middle of the day, do you need to nap? Do you have to reach for the fourth cup of coffee? Did you ever have a stash of Mars bars in your drawer at work because it was difficult to get through the afternoon? I sure did. Don't judge me. So, energy crashes. Are you somebody who's ever had irritability or been hangry? Right? Like the witching hour, 4:30, 5 o'clock. Do you ever get shaky if you don't eat? I figured that out early in my marriage. My husband helped me figure that one out. Actually, have you ever had anxiety or jitteriness or like nervous tension? Have you ever had cravings? Have you ever had brain fog where it's really difficult to get through the thoughts, like, right? Do you ever wake up in the middle of the night? Do you ever feel exhausted but wired? I really wish I could go to bed, but like I'm so tired. And I could probably think of all the world problems and I could probably do all the things and it'd be so great. I could probably write that essay that I need to write in my thesis and probably come up with world's peace solutions. I'm so tired. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. Have you ever had symptoms ramp up when you skip a meal or when you're hungry? What makes this tricky is that blood sugar swings do not always look so dramatic. Sometimes they can just feel like, well, I don't quite feel like myself, like something's a little bit off. Okay, if you've said yes to any of those things, I'm going to invite you to do this little mini experiment. Okay, so instead of overwhelming ourselves with these complicated nutrition rules, I don't love those kinds of things. I want to invite you into a very tiny experiment. This is about observation. I want you to do a 3-day blood sugar and mood tracker for yourself. It's very easy. You can write this down on your paper if you want. This is so easy. For the next 3 days, today is Monday, so do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Start tomorrow. Or you can today too if you want, whatever. You're going to do this for 3 days till the middle of the week. After meals, after snacks, I want you to pause and ask yourself a couple of questions. I'll make sure that these questions are listed wherever you're watching this video so that you've got them written down. How is my energy right now? Do I feel calm and steady, or do I feel anxious and scattered? Am I satisfied, or am I still hunting for something sweet? Is my focus improving, or is it crashing? And then I want you 2 hours after your meals. How do I feel 2 hours after the meal? Those are going to be the questions. And that's really just to start paying attention and to observe. Oh, isn't that so interesting what your body's trying to tell us? So, experience once you've seen this for 3 days, then come back. If you've had any questions here that have made you go, oh, yeah, my energy tends to tank like 2 hours after a meal, especially if I have like the pasta dinner that I love to make for lunch because it's so easy. Or I tend to be more anxious on those days where I pushed my lunch to 2 p.m. instead of having my lunch usually at 11:30 like I do. Um, on the days where I have a lot of meetings, I find myself not able to say no to the bowl of candy in the office. Like the chocolate bars are devoured by the end of the day. Notice what it is you're reaching for, what you're craving, maybe, how you're feeling, what the state is tied to when you had your meal. Did you push your meal? Did you have it earlier? Did you skip a meal entirely? Did you have a very easy to digest kind of comfort meal, we'll call it? Like I used to have a client who would love rice and soy sauce for lunch. And I was like, that's not going to sustain you, honey. She's like, no, but it's my comfort meal. It's what I love. Yeah. Okay. How do you feel 2 hours later? Oh my God, I had no idea. Those days are the days where I can't function the rest of the day. Isn't that interesting information, huh? And once you've identified, I'm going to encourage you to bring in one supportive adjustment, and then you can experience a little bit with building your meals a little bit differently. So, I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what it is that we would do inside the network. Can you? So, for the sweetheart who loved her rice with soy sauce, I said, what do you think about adding a couple of eggs to that? Oh, yeah, it has to be quick and easy. So I could totally do a few fried eggs on top. Maybe I could add like green onions on top. That'd be so nice. It's like a little Korean dish. Sounds great. So adding a little bit of protein to a meal that might have more heavily carbohydrates. Could you, how different would you feel if you added eggs or chicken or a can of salmon or tuna or nuts or seeds even to a meal? I had a client this morning, it was so interesting. She was talking about her breakfast and she was wondering why, for the first time in about 6 weeks or 8 weeks, she was starting to have some of the symptoms she'd had before. And when we traced back, this was now day 2 of no protein at breakfast. She hadn't changed anything else. She had just had put in good protein at breakfast, but now today and the day before had skipped having protein at breakfast. And so now her work is going to be to bring protein back in. Could you maybe avoid meals that are mostly sugar or quick carbohydrates? Avoid having those just on their own. The rice and adding a couple of eggs is a perfect example. Could you work towards building meals that actually feel satisfying? What does that look like? How's your protein in there? How's your fat? And how many carbohydrates do you have in relation to others? One of the things we talk about in the network is make your protein volume bigger than your carbohydrate volume, whatever your starch is on the plate. So it's not about eating perfectly. This is really about learning how your body responds. That's a lot of what we do inside of the Good Food Network. And so much of this month is so deeply tied, of course, to the thyroid, but it's because of this blood sugar issue that has the blood sugar imbalances and the stress hormones are just so deeply connected, and they are part of the picture when the burden of stress has been elevated for some time. And the more that burden of stress is up, the more we downregulate your thyroid. So if you have blood sugars that are swinging like a roller coaster all day, your body is often going to be compensating by increasing stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, sort of those other ones that come about when we're in the stress response. And over time, that absolutely impacts your thyroid, but it also shows up in other ways. If we start to do a little bit of digging, we start to see it show up in sleep. We see it in energy. We see it in mood. We see it in inflammation, in overall resilience of the body. These are all pieces that the thyroid has the potential of impacting. Oh my gosh, is it all the same thing, Luca? Yeah, that's the good news. The work is kind of the same for everyone, regardless of what you have going on. I could tie it and make it make sense for you if you need to. We could talk about it. Book in for a discovery call. We'll figure it out together. But this is one of the reasons we're starting June with a live session this week, this Thursday. What's Thursday? The 4th. We are actually opening things with blood sugar and metabolic health because it affects so many systems downstream. Okay, so as you're doing this mini experiment, for those who are going to join us, I don't want you judging yourself during this experiment. The goal is just to observe patterns, okay? I'm not, no, don't put yourself in the doghouse. I want you to notice afternoon crashes, mood swings, cravings. Are you noticing steadier energy? Don't just notice the bad stuff, look for the good stuff too. That's actually part of the solution. Can you see a shift in how you're thinking? Is it clearer thinking? Is it improved satiety where you don't need to snack as much as you used to? Are you more steady, less jittery, less worried? Do you feel calmer after meals? Well, pal, this is really the heart of what it is we do inside the Good Food Network and everything I do with clients as well. In the network, we take these concepts that can feel overwhelming and we turn them into these small practical experiments that you can actually live with and kind of slip into your day. I mean, I love information. I think it's super helpful, but practice is where this transformation really begins. So I want to take you through, I want this membership to feel supportive. I want the network to feel practical, manageable, not just another overwhelming health kind of program. I want to take you through now to show you what it looks like inside the network this month, what it is that we'll be doing. Just a second, do this and this. My dinner is cooking as I do this. It smells amazing. So in the Good Food Network, this spring month that moves into summer, I know, so exciting. So our main topic this month is the thyroid as a foundation for metabolic health. And we do a weekly session every week. There's kind of a combination of different types of sessions you can access when you're in the network, but these weekly sessions are the crown jewel of the entire thing. They're 30 to 35 minutes in length. Every Thursday morning, we do them live, so you can come live. The replay is always uploaded about an hour afterwards, and it's always kind of a different lens into our main topic. And we are talking thyroid this month. So this week, we're talking, as I said, blood sugar swings and thyroid strain. June 11th, the next week, we'll be talking about when you have a thyroid issue, is it maybe a conversion problem? T4 to T3, what does it take to do this work? And why is this actually more important than some of the other numbers that some people look at? Oh, they're all important. I shouldn't throw anybody under the bus. They're all important. I'll just highlight the T4 to T3 conversion because that is one of those pieces that the burden of stress really deeply hampers, actually. In our third week, we're going to be talking about movement that heals versus movement that depletes. Is your workout adding to your health or is it subtracting from your health? Essentially, is what we'll be talking about. And our final week, we're going to be doing an overview of many of the sessions we've done in this month and last month, also on the thyroid, where we'll talk about what it is your body needs to feel safe again. So it'll be kind of a roundup of ideas. Now, when you join the Good Food Network, you also get access to the 2-hour live class that I do every month. And you can also just take this class by itself. Wherever you're watching this video, I'll make sure it's one of the options. If you find this idea of a weekly session just a little bit too much and you want just one session that you can concentrate on, then by all means, just take this one class. But if you're in the network, you get access to it included in the cost of your membership. So this 2-hour class we're doing the middle of June, June 17th, I think it is. Let me look. Not next week, the week out, June 17th. June 17th, we are doing a class SOS Hypothyroid. It's a brand new class I'll be building where we will understand the thyroid's role through the lens of stress, metabolism, and resilience, and why it is that the thyroid is underregulated. Whether you have a diagnosis or you're on medication or not, I don't care. We'll be talking about what is it that downregulates our thyroid so much and what can we do about it. So that's going to be a full 2-hour class. Now, every month in the network, we also do a series of recipes. These are the same recipes that go out to my recipe subscription folks. So if you're on the subscription, then you know what it is that we get this month because it just went out. We've got 5 recipes that focus on the thyroid specifically this month. They're also seasonally inspired and variations for anybody who needs them. So one of those recipes is Brazil nuts and how to properly activate Brazil nuts and why they're so good for the thyroid. When you activate them, it actually helps them easier to digest and helps you get more of the minerals out of the Brazil nuts. There's also a chicken dish. I can't remember which one. I have so many chicken dishes. I think it's actually the shake and bake, kind of old school recipe, but like a homemade version. And there are other ones in there. I can't quite remember. I think there's brothsicles in there, maybe. I can't remember. But there's 5 recipes. They're delicious. For those in the network, you get to print these up. It's all included. My recipe folks, it just came to your inbox. We also have a weekly food challenge. Every Monday, I throw out a challenge of a food that is specifically fantastic for whatever it is we're talking about. Now, today's Monday, so I'll give you an idea. Today, the food that I posted about is seaweed. So I talk about how seaweed is so supportive to the thyroid and all things metabolic health related. So we talk about why it's so important, and then I give you 8 ideas on how to incorporate it into meals. Sometimes there's a recipe. Mostly it's just like, add it this way, toss it in with meatballs. I'm a believer in weaning you off recipes after I just told you these recipes because I want you to cook from the hip. I want you to not be tied to these rules and have a little bit of creative freedom in what it is you're putting together in your kitchen. And that's a bit of what is the idea, I guess, behind this weekly food challenge. There's another extra module inside of the Good Food Network that is solely based on seasonal eating. I'm launching another one, a standalone class later this month, but this is the precursor to it. It's a short video module, maybe 12 minutes, but in it, every time a season turns around, and today I shifted it over to summer eating, there is a handout that talks about how to think about moving through the season with a bundle of recipes that are new for the season. So you've got a list of foods to focus on for the summer, a list of teas, a list of herbs, some superb foods, of course, to help nourish through the summer. The summer, the main organ of the summer through the lens of traditional Chinese medicine is the heart, and the corresponding organ is the guts. And so we'll be doing a lot of foods to focus on supporting both of those. And of course, more recipes. I know, you get so tired of my recipes, I guarantee you. Now, as part of joining the Good Food Network, some people want to go even deeper. When I first started doing organ-specific classes or system-specific classes, I was doing them as a full afternoon at the Light Cellar where we got hands-on and did some cooking, provided lists and a general overview and understanding of the organ in question. And this was one of those classes I used to run there. And it was on the thyroid. and it's a full 3 hour class now. I've now built it on its own. And when you join us in the network, you have access to it as this extra bonus piece. Most people don't access it because they've already got enough with the price point it's at, but those who are looking for really good value will totally access this. And then you have lifetime access for free. Well, you pay the subscription price, but there you go. So you've got a little piece in your back pocket if you need it. So otherwise, this class by itself is 80, just so you know. I'm just saying. So good stuff awaits you. Now, the piece to know, there's a mix of pre-recorded things like that Vitality Thyroid class, but there's also live stuff like those Thursday morning sessions or the hypothyroid class we'll be doing. Everything we're doing live is available on replay, so you don't have to attend live, you certainly can. But as soon as you join us in the network, you get instant access as soon as you register, and you will have access until the end of the month. And every first of the month, we switch things over. I want to leave you with a little thing to think about. Your thyroid is not shaped by what you do once in a while. It's actually shaped by the daily patterns that your body learns to expect. And if you get this, you now understand what it is to be in the network, what kind of things we do, and what our goal is. It is to shape those daily patterns so your body knows what to expect. And when she knows what to expect, or when he or they know what to expect, that's when that burden of stress will start to come down. It's my favorite part of it. All right. Stop share. Thank you. So that is a big part of what it is we do. If the fit does not feel right, I want you to know there's a full 7-day full refund guarantee. I will even forfeit the $6 I lose to my payment platform. I don't care because I've only had it happen once where somebody signed up for 8 of my things in one day and then she's like, oh my God, too much. Yeah, of course it was too much. So no problem. So get in touch. I'm going to tell you there's going to be links on how to join us in just a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about maybe what you can expect. So I want to paint a before and after picture just to see like where do you fit in here so that this might give you a better idea. Are you somebody who might benefit from joining us in the Good Food Network? Okay, I'm going to paint you a before picture. Are you overwhelmed by conflicting health information? I found 6 people. They all say 6 different things. Yeah. Are you the person who jumps from one idea to the next, always searching for the solution? Do you perhaps feel disconnected from your body? Are you unsure of where to start? It just feels like there's a mountain of information, but what am I supposed to do with that? Do you feel that way? Are you tired of trying random things? Or do you sense that something is off, but you don't know what to do about it? Okay, if you said yes to any of those, that's the before picture. I want you to imagine now the after picture. So this is after you've been involved here, either one-on-one sessions or inside the network. You start to feel more confident with food. You're cooking more from the hip, like I was talking about. You're understanding more of what it is that supports your body. Do you feel steadier energy and your capacity has now increased? Do you feel more connected to how you're feeling and what kind of signals your body's trying to tell you, whether they're hunger signals, sleep, even stress patterns? We're not hoping to not have stress patterns. We're hoping to move through stress patterns with ease. That's what our goal is, actually. Part of the after picture can also be that you've built these sustainable rhythms. They're just how you move through the day. You don't have to think about it anymore. What would it feel like to have less fear, less confusion around your symptoms? What would it feel like to feel supported and consistent instead of feeling isolated in the corner? Heck yeah, we talk about histamine at every single session. I weave in the histamine picture to everything because that's 90% of my clientele. So, from collecting information to building supportive daily rhythms, that's what we do inside the Good Food Network. From constantly reacting to symptoms to understanding and reading patterns so that our body can react differently. That is also what we do inside the Good Food Network. We create a foundation that supports energy, hormones, digestion, long-term health, regardless of what it is you have at the core. So if this month feels like something your body has been asking for, I would love to have you come and join us. So the pricing is $40 per month. There is a special deal for newsletter readers. So if you've been sent here from the newsletter, go back to the newsletter and use the link in there instead. You're getting $5 off. And if you are a former one-on-one client, it's another $5 off of that. I was sending the links, but I am so afraid of overwhelming people. So just send me an email. I'll give you the link to join the Good Food Network. Or if I see that you join, then I'll change your pay structure so that you get the one-on-one deal. Yeah. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get weekly live support, practical implementations, recipes. God, so many recipes. You're going to get challenges. You're going to get community rhythm. You're going to replay access to everything we do live. So you don't need to overhaul your life overnight. In fact, I think that's the worst thing you can do. Sometimes healing starts with learning how to consistently support the body with these small steps along the way. I'll help you identify those steps and I'll help you identify how to read the signs it is your body's sending. That's everything that we practice inside the Good Food Network. So I invite you to come and join us. The registration links will be either below this video or if an email sent you here, go back to the email. And we got started. I've already launched everything for the month of June, so it's ready as soon as you join us and you get instant access. I've all automated that whole process now. It took me a while, but I figured it out. Thanks for joining me on this Monday. I hope you have a delightful day ahead and the week is good to you. And if you're joining us in the network, I can't wait to see you there, pal. Take care. Salut et à bientôt.